3, 2, 1, yeah, we ready right now. Got me feeling so free.
Welcome to the first episode of the Side Quest Hustle. My name is Shad. I'm your host. I want to thank everybody for joining me on this journey. It's been a road to get here, and so I appreciate you guys who have followed along on social media and Discord. The links to those will be down in the description, and you can find us at the Side Quest Hustle on all social media platforms. On the Side Quest Hustle, we'll dive into anime, TV, movies, and more. We'll do reviews, talk about some news, upcoming events, and we'll have some fun. We'll play some games. We'll have guests periodically, and they'll help me break down some of your favorite anime, TV shows, movies, video games, whatever it may be. We're going to have some fun here. Be sure to join our Discord community. The link will be down in the description. I'll try to get a new episode posted weekly. We'll take breaks during the holiday. With this being the first episode, I really wanted everybody to get to know me, get to know the host of the Side Quest Hustle. So I asked in Discord and on social media just some questions, what people would like to know about me, what people would like to know about the show. And so we'll get started there. So the first question I'll dive into comes from the Discord. It's how did I come up with the name, the Side Quest Hustle? So I consider myself a gamer, even though recently I haven't had a lot of time to game. We have some young kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, anybody with kids know that they take up a lot of your attention. So I still try to find time to game. Picked up some mobile games that I've enjoyed, but I've been a really big console gamer since I was a kid. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all the way up to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. And so with video games, side quests are a big part of a lot of the big video games. Those side quests often have rewards. You know, it's everything from a new armor, loot, whatever the currency for that game is. And it's always rewarding to go and complete some of these side quests and get that extra that will really help you on that main quest, and that really ties into life. In life, people don't really call them side quests, they call them side hustles, which the hustle part of the name came in. People will start a side hustle as an extra way to, make money, have fun, maybe achieve a dream, something they've always wanted to do. For me, this podcast is one of those side quests. I have a love for anime. I have a love for TV, movies, video games, and I want to build a community where I can talk about these things with people, and I can share my thoughts on them and get feedback from people about my thoughts and about the things that I love. So join the Discord community. Let's talk about these things together. I'm sharing my love with the world. I want to see who I can connect with, who also have that same passion, that same love for the different medias. The second question also comes from Discord, and it is, what was your first anime? My first anime will probably be a lot different from what most people my age first anime would be. I know a lot of people got their anime start, their anime origin in Toonami, and it's either Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball Z. I love Toonami as well. The first series I watched was from Toonami, but I actually got my anime start from the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah, back in the day, the Sci-Fi Channel used to have an anime block, an anime hour, and in that time frame, they showed a movie, which is a lot of people will say is a cult classic. It's the movie that broke open anime in the West, in the US, and it was Akira. I believe I was probably 7 or 8 years old, flipping through, and I saw cartoon on a channel that I wouldn't normally see a cartoon, and it was different. The animation was different. The whole vibe of the movie was different from what you would see on a Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or wherever you watched cartoons. The story was a little bit more serious. There were actual stakes. And the action was different. It was gripping. It was a little bit more violent. Probably something I shouldn't have been watching at that age, but it drew me in and it captured me. It was a story unlike any I had ever seen in a cartoon. So for those who haven't seen Akira, Akira is set in a dystopian Neo-Tokyo, which is riddled with violence, and it's after World War III. The movie's actually set in 2019. And it tells the story of Shotaro Kanata, who's the leader of a biker gang, and his childhood best friend, Tetsuo Shima. Tetsuo gets into a car accident and develop telekinetic abilities. He ends up getting taken by the government. They're doing experiments. He breaks out of the government facility. And long story short, Kanata ends up battling with Tetsuo to stop Tetsuo from basically destroying Neo-Tokyo. And I know that's like a quick rundown of what that movie is. I'll probably do another episode on Akira that'll break down Akira and its impact. But outside of the impact that it had on me, Akira is probably responsible for introducing and popularizing cyberpunk in the West. There are a bunch of pop culture references that reference Akira. And we're talking about Stranger Things with, the government taking and doing experiments on kids who have telekinetic powers. Kanye West's Stronger was themed after Akira. He had the motorcycle, the red jacket that Kanata wore. The Matrix, which it's post-apocalyptic sort of cyberpunk feel, was taken from The Matrix. And of course, Cyberpunk 2077, the video game that was released a few years back. And all of these mediums, the creators stated that Akira was an influence in them creating their media and getting started in the cyberpunk, the post-apocalyptic, the dystopian future genre. Outside of Akira, the Sci-Fi Channel also was my first glance at Ghost in the Shell, Evangelion. They also had a morning block. That's where the Starship Trooper anime, which I saw. I saw the Starship Trooper anime before I saw the Starship Trooper movies. I thought that was cool. And I mean, I just feel like from watching those shows, I started to watch them every day and on Saturdays. And they were different from the other cartoons, and I was hooked. I sought out that form of media. And so when Toonami came around, I was drawn to it. I believe the time I would make it home, I was never able to really catch Dragon Ball Z from the beginning, but I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I would always catch probably the last 15 minutes or so by the time I made it home. But the show that came on directly after Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, ended up becoming my favorite. It was the first anime series that I watched from start to finish, every day. So Gundam Wing, I would probably say, is the first anime series that I was truly able to watch. So yeah, Dragon Ball Z was there, but I wasn't catching a full episode of Dragon Ball Z until later. They started airing Dragon Ball Z for the full hour. But I've had a love for Gundam and a love for mech anime since the Saturday morning cartoons. It was WB that Pokemon came on. ABC, I believe it was ABC Family that aired Digimon, which I like Digimon better than Pokemon. To me, that story had higher stakes. Those kids in Digimon, they were fighting to save Tokyo. They were fighting to save that digital world. You had Digimon that were getting deleted or dying. In Pokemon, if Ash lost, he just went to the Poke Center and healed his Pokemon. But there were real stakes. They were trying to save their families, their friends. They were saving all of Tokyo. And so I like Pokemon, but I think after being introduced to, like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, that type of anime, I wanted something that there were stakes on the line. There was something on the line, not just, he's going to lose and then he's going to go and try again, which is a cool story. Don't get me wrong. I like Pokemon and I am a big Pokemon fan. But the stakes in Digimon made it a better series for me. The third question comes from Instagram, which is what anime am I watching today? So the Spring 24 lineup, I feel like is pretty strong. So they have some that I will probably become a seasonal fan of. Windbreaker is definitely my favorite from the Spring 24. Kaiju number 8 is another fun one that I'm watching currently. Go-Go Loser Ranger is one that has an interesting story, which is an interesting take on, a childhood favorite of Power Rangers. There's a couple of more that I'm probably going to wait until their season is done and binge watch them. So Viral Hit is one, Remonster is another. I am currently also watching Freerun. I did not watch Freerun while it was airing. I didn't even really know about it. I don't know how. I completely missed that one. And so I've seen a lot of people talking about it. And so I've picked it up and I'm about halfway through. So by the second episode, I should be finished with the first season of Freerun. And I'm loving it so far. I wasn't a big fan to start with Freerun. I tried 3 times, I think, and I fell asleep each time. So this past weekend, me and my daughter, she's 13, we sat down and we watched the first couple of episodes and was like, yeah, I just had to make it through those first couple. And I can say I'm a fan now. I see what the hype is about. At one point I said it was overhyped. But I'd have to say that it lives up to the hype. It is appropriately hyped, and I'm a fan. I'll probably do an episode reviewing it in the future. The next question actually came in from the Discord as well, and it is, what are my top 5 anime? So I'll get started with an honorable mention. It hops in and out of my top 5 depending on how I feel. But it's Dragon Ball, that series, from the OG Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super. I love the series. I've watched it since I was a kid. What made me a fan of Dragon Ball initially was the movies. Cartoon Network would, on certain Saturdays, show a marathon of Dragon Ball movies. And that was the first time I was able to watch Dragon Ball in its entirety from start to finish. And I think I binge watched the 3 or 4 movies that they showed that day. And I was like, yeah, I love this. This is what I need. And so whenever I was able to, I would try to catch the entire episode of Dragon Ball Z. But it is in my honorable mentions. The creator, Akira Toriyama, passed back in March, and there are still plans from Toei to continue the anime as well as the manga. So I'm hoping it stays the quality product that Akira Toriyama made, and the one that everybody that I know grew up loving. And so my top 5. Number 5 is the Gundam series. I put the series as a whole because each Gundam show is a different timeline. If I had to pick a favorite out of the Gundam series, I would say it's Iron-Blooded Orphans. And I would probably say Iron-Blooded Orphans, followed by Gundam Wing, and then Gundam 00. It was the first anime series that I watched from start to finish, like I said, with Gundam Wing. And then from there was Gundam Seed, and then 00, then Iron-Blooded Orphan. Even some of the newer Gundams, the Witch from Mars and the Hathaway series. All of these stories are in different timelines, but the creators have done a very good job of telling these independent stories. Most of them are only maybe 1 or 2, some are 3 seasons. Hathaway is a movie series, which was just a little bit more political, but they are all great sort of space adventure mech anime with the political side of it. There's always sort of a have versus a have-nots. It approaches racism in a sense, elitism, classism, and it's always a fight between the lessers and the greaters. So I always feel like there was a great story behind Gundam, which is probably a reason why I like it so much. Number 4 was Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho has probably one of the, if not the best tournament arcs in anime. With the Dark Tournament arc, I mean, it was emotional. You saw these characters grow as the tournament progressed. You saw Yusuke and Kuwabara all have great character development during these arcs, and they were cool fights. All of the fights in the Dark Tournament arc were cool. And Yusuke is just a cool main character. He's a character that likes to fight. Thinking about it now, I had a conversation with someone here recently. They were in middle school. We're talking like 13, 14 years old. He's becoming a spirit detective. They're entrusting him to save the world. He's going and fighting in this tournament against these martial artists and demons who are hundreds of years old. It was a cool story, and it's one that stays toward the top of my list. My top 5 fluctuates from time to time, kind of on how I'm feeling, what I'm watching, what comes out, what I rewatch at the time. And so I think I'm overdue for a rewatch of Yu Yu Hakusho. Number 3, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is an amazing anime. The character development and the stories are second to none. I know a lot of people may have this as their favorite. It's an anime where anybody who's asking for a recommendation on a first anime, I give them Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's a shorter anime, around that 50 episode mark, and it's easy to get into. It's a great story. There's great character development. They tackle some difficult topics, but they also have great action scenes. It kind of throws you straight into action. And I feel like it is one of the better stories in anime that's told. It also has one of the coolest power systems in alchemy. Seeing Edward use alchemy without needing a transmutation circle. Mustang, he was one of my favorite characters in the show, and I feel like his rage moment, his revenge moment was one of the best in the show when he killed Envy. I mean, he had Envy begging for his life. This was somebody who was shown to be ruthless throughout the show, and Mustang broke him down. Number 2 on my list is Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter has probably the best power system that I've seen in anime with Nin. It's so complex and varied, where you take somebody like Kurapika, who's going after the Phantom Troop and who is nowhere near experienced, nowhere near as powerful as they are, and off rip, he's able to take out their physically strongest member. Based on the Nin contract that he signed with himself, the power that he was able to develop was able to give him the power boost to be able to defeat someone who was superior to him. And it goes to show throughout the series, Gon's rage moment, which is probably the greatest rage moment in anime against Pito. He was able to tap into his full potential and kill Pito when he was nowhere near the level to take on and defeat an opponent like Pito. Hunter x Hunter overall is just a fun story, from the Hunter exam to Greed Island, York New City. And I'm excited that it's continuing. I know the manga went on a little bit longer, and the manga's been on hiatus periodically here and there, but the creator Togashi, he is back in the lab. He's back in the studio drawing. He said he has about 7 chapters on deck ready to be released. And so that's exciting to see that continue. And my number 1, to no surprise, is One Piece. One Piece is probably the greatest fictional fantasy story ever told. The longevity of One Piece, which is on its 25 year. I believe One Piece is celebrating its 25th year, in June. Over 1,000 chapters, 1,000 episodes. There's a live action. There's a remake in the process. The records that it's broken. There are emotional moments that are unmatched that I haven't seen in not many other anime. The characters are great. They all go through their individual development. They all have their importance in the story. The stakes keep getting raised, and it's fun. It's in its peak right now, I believe, and I'm just hoping that it doesn't go on for another 25 years. I know Oda stated that he planned on wrapping the story up, that it's about to hit its climax, and he was hoping within 5 years it'd be done. But I think he said that like 10, 15 years ago. And I think he originally said that the story was only supposed to last for about 5 years. So we'll see how long it goes. So the next question comes from Discord as well. And it is, what is my first manga? My first manga was Bleach. The Bleach anime ended after the Bounce arc. And I was like, man, this can't be where this actually ends. Like, that was not the ending to this great story up to this point. And ended on Ichigo defeating the leader of that group. Like, that couldn't have been the end. And so I was searching the internet, I was looking on YouTube, and I found that it was a comic or a manga. At the time, I thought it was like, oh, there's a comic, cool, I'll read it. And so I ended up picking up the manga, and I actually read it from the beginning and caught up. And that's when I found out that about all the filler that was in there, and like all of this. I was like, where is this? Where was this part of the story? And once I caught up to where it was being released weekly, and it was right around the time that the 1,000-Year Blood War arc was kicking off and getting into the battles. And once it was completed, I was like, oh, this is cool. I could do this. I had fun reading it every week, waiting on it to come out. So after I finished Bleach, there was a little bit of a hole there. You know how when you finish something, it recommends the next. And there was One Piece and Naruto. And I had seen Naruto's anime. I'd seen One Piece's anime. And so I started reading those, and I read Naruto first, caught up to it. Then I read One Piece, and I really loved One Piece. I ended up going back and binge watching. I think at that time there may have been around 500 or so, maybe 600 episodes. I think up through like Marineford, maybe a little bit past Marineford. And so I ended up catching up and loving it. And I've been a fan ever since. Like I said, it's my number one anime. So some of the other things that I'm reading right now, Tower of God is probably my favorite manhwa, and outside of One Piece, it's my favorite thing to read weekly. There's an anime to it. If you hadn't checked it out, be sure to go check it out. Season 2 is coming out soon. I'll be covering it. A couple other things that I read weekly: Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball and Boruto are monthly, I believe. I read those as they come out. Some of the newer ones, I recently checked out the Blue Lock anime, and I've never been in the sports anime, but it's top tier, and so I plan on picking up its manga. Sakamoto Days, I've heard some good things about it. I want to pick it up and read it. There's an anime adaptation coming to Netflix next year. And Kagurabachi, it's one that's been making some waves. I've heard people say that it's pretty good, and so I want to pick that one up as well. So maybe I'll do an episode covering each, once I read it and get pretty far into it, or maybe if I finish it. I'm not sure how long they are, that I'll do an episode reviewing those. The next question, what is your favorite video game? This one comes from the Discord as well. I've slowed down a little bit on the video game since we've had kids. I still try to make time to play when I can. But my favorite, I would have to say it's Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece. If you haven't played it, you're missing out. I feel like it's the greatest game ever made. The side quests in Red Dead Redemption 2 are amazing. You can probably spend more time doing side quests in Red Dead Redemption 2 than you can in the main story. And it's doing everything from hunting vampires, hunting serial killers. There are hunting challenges in there where you hunt these mythical beasts or you can fish for these mythical fish. There's so much attention to detail, from the thunderstorms that roll through the plains, the cities. You pretty much cover the US from the snowy sort of northwest down to the Great Plains over to Saint Denis, which is a replica of New Orleans, and on up to the replicas of the Appalachians. It is a complete game, and I feel like it'll be hard to top, for me at least. Some other game series that I really like: Assassin's Creed. I picked up Assassin's Creed, I believe with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It was the pirate ship one. I'm a fan of pirates, and so they made a pirate game. I bought it, and I've been hooked ever since. My favorite in that series is probably Origins. They just announced the Assassin's Creed Shadows, which covers Japan, which Yusuke, the first Black Samurai, will be one of the main protagonists of the game. I plan on picking that up, playing it, and covering it here. God of War is another series that I played. I really like it. So those are a few. Maybe on the channel, if you guys are interested, let me know. Join the Discord. Give me your feedback. Leave a comment. Follow on Instagram. Leave comments there as well. Would you guys like to see me stream games? Maybe as some of the newer games come out and I get back into it, would you like to see me stream games? Maybe on Twitch or something like that, the Discord. Let me know. Might also pick up some older games, some of my older favorites, some of the classic games, play those, stream those, or maybe go back, take a look at some and their impact on society, their impact on the world. You know, like Super Mario. Everybody knows who Super Mario is. They're from the Super Mario world to Smash Bros. To, I believe they were an ambassador for the Olympics in Tokyo. There's movies out now. And so maybe I can go back and look at some of those older games and the impact that they have on society. Let me know what you guys want. Like I said, comment below, join the Discord. Let me know what you guys want to see. The next question comes from Instagram, and it's, what else will you cover on your podcast? Outside of anime and video games, I'm a big fan of TV and movies. I love going to the movie theaters and seeing the new movies. That Deadpool and Wolverine come out in July. There's an Alien movie coming out in August. I'll go see those, and I'll do an episode reviewing those. And TV, recently with the Fallout TV show, I'm glad that TV show was successful. I saw recently where it was the first Amazon TV show to do 2 billion minutes in streaming in 2 consecutive weeks, so kudos to them. And then Shogun was another good show that drew me in with its story from the start, and it's an epic tale. They picked it up for season 2 and 3, so I plan on covering it here as well. I may do a recap for both of those shows here sometime soon. I might cover books as well. My wife is an author. She is currently writing her first book, Voices of Legend. She has a YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook. If you're into fantasy, epic fantasy stories, be sure to check her out at Voices of Legend on everything. She's releasing the first book chapter by chapter, so I believe she has 3 chapters out now. She also has some lore videos out, so be sure to go check her out. Outside of her, I recently picked up Evan Winter's Rage of Dragons and Vengeance of Dragons as well. And those 2 books are action from start to finish. I feel like they would be great adaptations into anime, movies, TV shows. I would love to speak with him and get his thought process and like what made him write that. If you read the books, you know they are from start to finish, very fast paced, very well written stories. But let me know what you guys want to hear me talk about. If there's something going on, something in particular you want me to cover, leave a comment below. Shout it out in the Discord. The link to the Discord and all the social medias will be in the description. So I want to thank everybody who submitted questions. There are more questions. Maybe we can get those answered at a later time, or maybe on the Discord. Drop your recommendations in Discord. I appreciate the engagement. It's meant a lot to everybody who's joined the Discords, who's following on Instagram, who is commenting on the post and providing their feedback, providing recommendations and suggestions and advice. I really appreciate it. Stick around. I plan on posting weekly. And you'll be able to find us on all streaming platforms, wherever you consume your podcasts: Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube. The videos will be posted up on YouTube. Find us on Instagram as well. The links will be down in the description. But I really appreciate everybody who is listening, everybody who's following. It means a lot. Let me know where I can improve. A lot of this is new for me. Content creation is new for me. Public speaking is one that is a thing that I've never really been extremely comfortable with, but my wife has been a really big motivation on saying, hey, you have ideas, you have thoughts, you have takes on things. Get it out there. There are other people who think like you. And I love her. She's the biggest motivation I have. You know, even my kids, I told my daughter that I was thinking about doing a podcast, and she was all for it. She was excited for it. I'll probably have her on at some point. She has her own YouTube channel, and she's an anime fan as well. She loves the Magical Girl series. Her favorite is Sailor Moon. She's probably watched more Sailor Moon and can tell you more about Sailor Moon than I can. My 5-year-old son is an anime fan as well. Dragon Ball Z is his thing. He loves Dragon Ball Z. He is a Pokemon fan as well. He has his own Pokemon card collection. We made a deal that if he's good at school, if he's good at camp, and I would get him Pokemon cards. So he has a pretty cool Pokemon collection, which is cool because when I was younger, I had a Pokemon card collection. I feel like that's cool that we share an activity that I did when I was younger and kind of able to geek out with him on that. You know, some of my friends, my friend Braxton and Brandon, they're the oldest friends I've had. I've been friends with those guys for 30 plus years. My friend Braxton, he lives up in Dallas, and he'll be on the show at some point. He is a filmmaker. He is currently shooting his first short film. So I'll probably have him on to talk about that. We'll talk about some anime and movies as well. It'll be a good time. I think that'll wrap up the first episode. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and thank you guys for sticking it out with me in this first episode. Be sure to follow us on all social medias at the SideQuest Hustle. Again, the streaming platforms, it'll all be at the SideQuest Hustle. Link is down in the description if you want to check it out on video on YouTube. Also, leave a comment. Drop a rating on wherever you're listening. Let me know how you feel about the show. Let me know where I can improve. Let me know what you guys want to hear. Like and subscribe. Join our Discord community. Be active. Give me ideas in Discord. Join the debates there. We just had a big debate in the Discord and on Instagram about which characters or which character would win in a fight between Yusuke Urameshi, Naruto, Asta, and Yuji Itadori. I think it is Naruto. He's the only trained fighter there. But if you think different, let me know in Discord. Let me know on Instagram. But until next week, I'll see you guys in the Discord and on social media. Thank you. I'll see you soon.